you are in the right place if you're ready for high quality help. All right. I don't know about you, but I have come to a point in my business career and in my life where I realize I can go fast alone, but I can go far together, right? And that means that I need help. I need quality help. I need a team I can trust. And for me personally, what has been most game changing for me is accepting that I need an executive assistant or a virtual assistant at a bare minimum. Okay. So I started with a virtual assistant, I worked my way up to an EA. For the purpose of our conversation today, I will be very clear about how I see the difference between a virtual assistant and an executive assistant, so you can be clear on what I'm referring to. For me, when I talk about a virtual assistant, that's going to be anyone who can help you with any of the online tasks that you need to handle. Okay. For me, the difference between a VA and an EA is someone that I actually feel comfortable having them screen my email, having them help me manage my personal calendar, having them help me field my own messages. So, in other words, not messaging prospects and interested people through the lens of being a team member, but I actually trust them to get the conversation going, logged in as me, and then pull me into the conversation. And to be clear, in case you're like, but Joy, I thought I was talking to you and I'm talking to someone else. I don't have her pretend she's me. I just have her jump in and say, hey, Joy's in a meeting and she wouldn't want you to wait. And so I'm jumping in to give you some help right now. And then I'll connect you with her when she's done, that kind of thing. Okay. I'm not a huge fan of, letting people pretend that they're you when they're not you. So when we talk in our conversation today about VA versus EA, I'll use those terms relatively interchangeably. Okay. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into our conversation today, which if you have not seen it, I did a video last Tuesday. You can find it on our YouTube channel, HealAtScale YouTube/Heal at Scale. I did a conversation to set you up to win in this conversation today. Okay. We'll sort of refresh a little bit of that today to make sure that you guys remember exactly what's going to be required of you in order to have high quality help. But since I've covered that with you, I wanted to bring on the angel of my sanity, the person who helped me find the right executive assistant for me at a price that is not detrimental to my business. As a matter of fact, I have such a high ROI on investing in this help that I would be literally crazy to go back to not having this kind of help in my life. Seriously, you guys, like the number of meetings that I can take, the number of collaborations I can arrange, the things that I can keep my time focused on what actually moves the business forward, has a bigger impact on you guys' lives, and, spreads the word of the Heal at Scale mission in a much more effective way. And that's what I want for you too. Okay. Now, I'm going to warn you before I introduce you to our very special guest today. You're going to have some limiting beliefs come up when you go to make the decision to get an EA, okay, or a VA. Doesn't matter. When you go to hire help, you're going to have some internal thoughts like, oh, I could do it myself, or I'm just being lazy, or it'll take me longer to teach someone than it would for me to just do it all myself, or I don't deserve this yet, right? With the big capital YET. I don't deserve this yet. My profit margins aren't that high. Let me tell you something. All of those beliefs, you need to just shove them in a plastic bag today, long enough to hear us out, okay? Because as someone who has tried it both ways, I'm just going to gun through and do it all myself, okay? Versus I'm going to be smart and invest in the help that I need. The ROI that you get on getting your time back is it's exponential. It's not incremental. It's literally exponential. So let's park all those beliefs on the side. Let's talk about it together. And then if any of those concerns come up, let's have you put them in the comments and we'll address them at the end. Okay. So I'm going to bring on the beautiful Rona Angeles, bring her into the room here with us. Let's go ahead and get her up here on screen. Rona, how are
Hi,
you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Thank you for having me here, Joy. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm gonna share with everybody how you and I met. Is that okay? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I have a friend, Eric Berman, who runs the Speakeasy Mastermind. Love him and his beautiful wife, Ariel. And he told me, it was kind of last minute actually, but he told me about Dr. Fab Mancini's Fab Life event. And he just swore to me, oh, Joy, you got to go. This is such good people. It's totally your vibes. You're going to love it. And honestly, I bought a ticket, booked a hotel room and a flight at the almost very last minute,
Yeah.
scored my little VIP spot. I was super excited to roll in. And at first I met Rona's sister actually, and her sister was so sweet. We were in a networking, like a power networking session.
Yeah.
And she's like, what is the one thing that I asked her, what is the one thing that would change, that would have it feel like your coming here was a win? And she's like, oh, we're looking for more people who want help in their business. And I was like, oh my God, that's actually, the stars aligning, because I had recently lost my VA only because she moved. She was a great fit. She was wonderful, but she was moving and she couldn't stay with me. And so, and I thought, oh, this is perfect that we happen to run into each other. And then she says, oh, you need to meet my sister. And so she runs over and she gets Rona. And then honestly, it was just love at first sight. We
Yeah.
had dinner that night. We had such a good time. What really struck me about Rona and her sister and what they're pulling together is the fact that they're not letting a team of people sort of flail in their efforts to serve the clients. They actually have them organized and in one place. If they need help, they have each other to lean on. There's accountability, there's tracking of how many hours they're working there. I've experimented with a lot. Okay. And I have to say, just hearing them talk about the way that they run their business, I could just feel it, first of all, because they're amazing people. But I could tell by the way that they were talking about their organization that there was something different about them. And
Mm.
as the 3-day event went on, I was thinking to myself, wait a second, these people are like, they're also the team that supports Dr. Fab Mancini, right? And he was the gentleman who he and his wife were hosting the event. And I was like, wait a second, they came all of this way, like, because they're based in the Philippines, right? They came all of this way to support one of their clients in this event. Now, obviously, that was a good place for them to meet potential business people. So I could see the upside of it. But also, they don't have to do that, right? And just the fact that they had decided, you know what, this is a big deal for this client. We're going to be here. There was just something about it that felt really special to me. And again, we went to dinner that night, and I started inquiring about her business and what was possible, and shared the needs of my audience. And I was like, I just need to go for it. So, did I miss
Yeah.
anything, Rona? That was basically how we found
No,
each other.
yes, and the most part that I love the most is, us really clicking right there and then. Like, it's beyond imaginable. You know what I mean? Because I mean that was actually my second event attending
Oh,
for
love
Fit
Fabs.
Fab. Yes, and we're not even paid. We're not even what do you call this one, like, paid to attend, or
Yeah.
like to help him out or whatever. So it's,
Yeah.
we're doing it because that's how we care for our client. Like, we support each and everybody.
Yeah, it was obvious, you guys. Like, it wasn't their event, but you see them going around and helping if there was an AV issue
Yeah.
or someone wasn't signed in, or like they didn't, like, when I got there because I had registered so late, they didn't have my VIP badge. Her sister's jumping in and helping. It was like they treated it as if they were own, and that was the vibe. It was like I got the sense that they were playing team as if it was a family business, and that was
Mhm.
what drew me to them. And so then, of course, I decided, okay, well, because I'm in the market, I actually
Yeah.
need help. Let's go ahead and move forward. And then as I move forward, I'll see how your system works. I'll see if your people are a good fit for what my practitioners need, because all of my practitioners need very similar things to what I need. We implement a process called interest compounding. If you guys have followed my channel, my Instagram, if you're on my email list, you know that I'm a firm believer that you, as the brand leader, should do a rock solid, high quality delivery of content via long form video one time a week. And then that video should then be taken and it should be released on social media and promoted via email and on all these other platforms. But you shouldn't have to do it, you guys. If you do that, then all the hours that you spend doing that are hours that cannot be spent serving clients, right? Writing your book, creating your leveraged program, adding private label supplements, all the things that you know in your bones you need to do in order to grow your business. Every single minute that you spend putzing around in Canva trying to get a social media post out, or fretting over an email and how it sounds or how it doesn't sound, like all of that stuff, all of the time that you spend doing that is literally robbing you of the profits that you deserve in your business. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna take a chance on Rona and see what happens. And sure enough, she had met me too. So I think that she had a good sense of like, oh, this person talks fast, she moves fast, she gets a lot of things done really quickly.
Yeah.
And so she found someone who is the almost not the, I won't say the opposite of me, but she's the perfect counterbalance to me, right?
Mhm.
So I talk a lot and really fast. My Sai is her name. She's amazing. She's not the chattiest Kathy, right? She's not like just chatting and chatting, but she is so effective and she keeps me streamlined and on topic. And she tracks everything that I've asked her to do in exactly the way that I ask her to track it. Okay. So I went ahead and dove head in and decided, okay, I'm going to dive into Rona's world. I'm going to see what's possible. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work out and I have to move on and do my research and find someone else. Well, obviously she's here, you guys. So spoiler alert. It went amazing, and Sai is taking on more and more every day, and my time is freed up. So yesterday was Monday. Today's Tuesday today. So yesterday was Monday, and
Mhm.
typically I would lose about a third of my day in correspondence and getting everything sorted out in order for the week to flow smoothly. Instead, I literally had 3 collaborative sessions with partners, so brand to brand partnerships that will be amazing for this community. I had time to do 3 of those meetings, deliver my practitioner accelerator copy clinic, which I love doing, do a coaching session for a practitioner who was struggling and we needed to revamp her, and then also take on a sales call with a prospect who's considering joining our mastermind. Like those kind of things are high ROI activities in my business, as opposed to filtering my own email, moving some things around on my calendar, and getting the email out for today's call, for this live session, the social media posts and the emails. All of those things were handled so that I could have all of those meetings yesterday. That is game changing. For me, I couldn't have been my highest self in any of those meetings or even in serving my clients if I was totally stressed out that my emails weren't being responded to, nothing was happening on social, nothing's moving the business forward. So not only is my EA getting a whole bunch of things that are done for me that are taking things off my plate that are time wasters, I'm also showing up as a better version of myself because I don't feel bogged down by all of those tasks. Okay. So if you didn't already know the value of having a VA or an EA to help you, I just wanted to make sure to reveal those so it's crystal, crystal clear. Okay. Now, since I have had such a great experience with Sai, what I did, so Rona found me, Sai, that's her name. And then once we connected, I gave her very clear playbooks on exactly how I wanted the things I needed done. So in other words, I gave her a very specific way, a very specific protocol. You guys, it's kind of OCD. It's like right down to if there is any sort of tutorial, like video tutorial that needed to be done, I linked in my documents the tutorial of how to do it so that she could hit the ground running and I wouldn't have to be answering a bazillion questions in that first week that she was onboarded. Okay. So knowing that I had the benefit of meeting Rona in advance, so she knew my personality. She found me an amazing person. I had to show up as a leader. And showing up as a leader for your VA means you are crystal clear about exactly what you expect them to do, and you have rock solid processes for the way that you want it done. right? So assuming that we're all on board together and that's something that we're all interested in, I thought we could bring Rona here today and we could talk with her because she's seen it all, right? I'd like her to chat with us about what she sees people do right when they bring someone on board and the things that she's seen them do wrong. Okay. Because my hope is that you take a leap of faith like I did and you trust Rona to find you someone amazing. I have zero regrets and I will keep you guys posted as things get better and better. I can actually see myself bringing on another person, but we'll save that story for the next conversation. And let's make sure that we get you ready and prepared to bring on the kind of help that can exponentiate your impact and profits. So, with that, Rona, first of all, thank you for taking your time. I know you have a huge team. I know you have a lot of responsibility, and it means the world to me that you would take the time to be here
Oh,
today. So, thank you.
yes. Anything for you, Joy.
Oh, you're sweet. So I just want you to lay it on us. So if we're talking
Mm,
about your dream clients, right?
yeah.
What do these clients that sort of get connected with their VA or their EA and they seem to hit the ground running and work together well right away? What
Mhm.
differentiates those types of clients?
Yeah. Well, to begin with, there's actually client and then the ideal client. So client can be anybody, you know what I mean? Like, so anybody that actually needs a virtual assistant. Anybody that, a busy entrepreneur that, that needs help. But the ideal client is someone that has, a heart treating this virtual assistant as part of their team, as part of their, their company. Like, we're not asking for a lot. What we're asking is just to, make us feel like we're part of your team. Because
What
if
does that look
you
like? What are those things that have your VAs
like
feel
proper
like a part of the team
communication.
versus just
Oh,
hired help?
oh
Like what are the
yes.
things that make them feel more like a part of the team?
I mean, if you actually, treat the virtual assistant as part of your team, it gives them, a confidence to like really perform the task that they're done. I mean, that they're asked to do so, compared to the ones that, okay, I need you to do this, 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 and that. And most of the time, virtual assistant will just gonna feel like, okay, I'm just someone that they're just hired to, do those tasks. And it actually kind of like give them in a state of happiness wherein, the client will make them feel that, okay, you belong, you're part of our, our company, our circle, things
I
like that.
love it. So more than a task list, but actually understanding maybe the impact of what they're doing about like, so this is what I need you to do. This is why I need you to do it. Is it clarifying the
Mhm.
reason or is it more the FaceTime of interacting with them?
I mean, we're not. I mean, as virtual assistant, we're not really asking because we know how our clients are so busy most of the time, and it's not every day or every time that our clients will be there to like answer every questions or whatsoever. But the key to have a very successful working relationship between the business owner and the virtual assistant is an open communication and a clear, giving them a clear instruction instead of like, okay, I
Mm,
need you to find me this, and
yeah.
that's it. But
Yeah.
if you actually have, like a clear instructions, okay, I need, list of these names and this category in this, certain market or things like that, then, it will actually, I mean, what do you call this one? What the entrepreneur doesn't really realize is that they're saving a lot of time. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
So
Because
it's the specificity of the task.
absolutely.
Okay, got it. So I'll tell you guys how I've overcome that. So in terms of making sure that I'm like not sort of barking commands and just, being, demanding certain things get completed. I actually take the time to create what I call playbooks.
Yeah.
And the playbook there's a very general playbook that explains, hey, this is what it means for you to be my EA. Like, I'm looking for you to protect my time. I'm looking for you to move conversations forward via email and social media that might result in that client becoming a prospect. Okay. And then, so for me, I break it down into a playbook for the EA of kind of, hey, these are the general expectations. And you guys, general expectations, it shouldn't be broad, right? So you should be very clear about, like, okay, what is it? What is the goal of you even having this person on the team? So for me, I shared with my EA what I call my North Star principles. Like, hey, for that role, what am I really looking for them to do? Protect my time, and I define what that means. So what does it mean to protect my time? If I have a 9 a.m. appointment and a 4 p.m. appointment, and there's any way that she can move those, closer together, where now my 4 is now at 10 and she can protect the whole afternoon, then that's described in my North Star principles. So for me, I give them my North Star principles, and I explain sort of philosophically what I'm looking for in this relationship. And then each task has not only sort of how it's done, but let's say, for example, so one of the things my social media, or one of the things that my EA does, is called social media engagement. And I have an entire playbook just for social media engagement. And obviously, I do not expect someone who just met me to know how to say hi to my audience. Like, what questions should they ask to start drumming up a conversation? They're not psychic, right? They don't know this from, they don't know that, right? So I have a sample conversation document. So I say, listen, okay, this is the order of importance of my social media platforms. I want you to start to this one, and then move to this one, and then move to this one. And I rate them in order of importance. And on each social media platform, things are a little bit different, right? So if you want them interacting on YouTube, they need to log into the back end of your creator studio. They need to click the community tab. They need to see all the comments, and they need to strike up those conversations. That is a totally different set of instructions than, okay, I want you to go to Instagram. I want you to click on the heart for the notifications. I want you to reach out to everyone who's interacted with our content. Those are two totally completely different set of directions for how do they get in there, which tab do they click, what do they do, and also the conversations are different. So what happens is I go ahead and give them the description on exactly on exactly which order I want them to do it. And then for each platform, I have sample starter conversations. I have sample questions that they can ask. And then what happens is they have a clear instruction that, hey, if you actually strike up a conversation, so if the conversation is going back and forth with someone, then she takes that person's name and she adds them to my hot prospects list. Okay. And the hot prospects list is in a document that I call it the daily sync, right? So we have a daily sync meeting in the morning, and we have a daily sync meeting in the afternoon. So my EA and I meet at 8:30, and she starts at 8, right? So from 8 until 8:30, she's already looked at my inbox, and she's going to tell me on that meeting what's burning importance and like what can wait, right? So we're going to have that conversation. Okay. And then she does her tasks throughout the day. And we also meet at 4. And between 3:30 and 4, she's checking my email to make sure, okay, is there anything that I need to draw Joy's attention to? Okay. So when I say that, when Rona is saying that you have to be clear about exactly what you want them to do, I literally am a firm believer that you need to create whatever you want to call them. Some people would call them SOPs, right? Like standard operating procedure documents. I call them playbooks because my playbooks are a little bit more, they're a lot more. Rona, would it be fair to say that, oh, she put herself in the waiting room. Let me come back over here. Rona, would it be fair to say that the playbooks that I create are a little bit obsessive compulsive? Like, you've
Actually
seen the
not.
detail.
Yes, I've seen it. And I totally love it because I'm I create SOPs for businesses. I mean, my profession as well, as a business operation integrator. So I help out businesses streamline their operation, create SOPs for them. So seeing how you created your playbook, it's a music to my life. Because I know how exactly, you know, that your virtual assistant will be guided. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's clear, right, you guys? So I would say, like, so, okay, so you're saying make them feel like the family, like instead of giving them just like, oh, go do all this stuff and don't give them any direction, explain why they're doing what they're doing and give them clear direction on how to do it so they feel more a part of the team, like more a part of your financial family, right? Because they're
Mhm.
helping the business grow.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you think helps people hit the ground running and have success with their VA right away?
Yeah. What other people doesn't really see and understand is the power of outsourcing. Because to them, they think that, oh, I can just do everything, or like I can't really let go of those tasks because, you know, it should be me doing that. But the thing is, us entrepreneurs and business owners, we have to like really focus on the bigger picture of our businesses,
Yeah.
closing deals, making sales, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Meeting with the clients, and just outsource the tasks that really, you know, fill your plate, and take them off of your shoulder, and have someone in the background, an admin VA, an executive VA, do that for you.
I'm going
So
to
in
pull
that
up these
way,
notes because, hey, you.
yeah.
Uh,
So, you're gonna get so many time and hours that you can spend either with your family, with your loved ones, with your business, right?
Exactly. We did some basics on this, like Rona, in preparation to introduce people to you. I went ahead and gave some like some helpful, pointers last time. So I'm just pulling up my notes and
Mhm.
we went through here. I'll show you and you can see if there's anything on here that you would add, but see if this is going to be backwards or forwards. Is that backwards for you, Rona, or can you
Oh
see
no.
that forwards?
Yeah, yeah.
Looks right?
That's
Okay,
good.
good, good, good. Okay. So, when in preparation to meet you this week, I let them know that there were three things that I thought they should get super, super clear on. I
Mhm.
thought that they should start right here by getting clear on the basic tasks that would save their time. So
Yeah.
for me, I knew that was going to be my email, it was going to be my calendar, it was going to be messaging, and I made a whole list of tasks, social media, like social media outreach. So
Yeah.
people who follow my content, watch a video, any of that kind of stuff, having someone immediately reach out and say hi and connect them and provide links to free assets. Like it really gets the ball rolling. So I knew those were all the basic things. For me, I knew I was going to do the interest compounding piece, which is taking one piece of content and turning it into content on all of those things. So
Yeah.
I recommend that you guys start right there. You make a list of the basics you know that you're going to want to turn over. And then you create your budget. So, like, how much can I invest in an EA? And I even gave you guys the formula to do that. And if you don't remember, it was the income that you pay yourself for the year divided by, okay, so divided by 2,000 hours. And then if you want to make sure you're going to get a 4 times ROI on that, you simply divide that number by 4 and you know that you're protecting your own time, right? So if you pay yourself, for example, 200K a year that you take
Mhm.
home and then you divide that by 2,000 hours, you are paying yourself $100 an hour, right?
Mhm.
So if you divide that by 4 to make sure that you're getting a 4x ROI on your own time, on your invested time in the EA, then that lets you know, okay, I can spend about $25 an hour and I'm still getting a 4x ROI on protecting my time. So I highly recommend that you run the math for that. Okay. And then if you want your VA to be successful quickly, and of course you do because you want that ROI to be high right from the beginning, then I suggest that you give them very clear blueprints for exactly what you want done and exactly how you want it done. And for me, that means creating playbooks that have tutorial videos and meeting with my EA so that we can refine them together. And that's the trick, right? Because what we think is clear, it might not be exactly clear. So we need to make sure we not only provide the tutorials and the checklist, but we
Mhm.
also, especially while you're onboarding, have regular meetings with them so that you can refine the process so it becomes a well-oiled machine. Okay. So if you have yet to do the basics, do a time audit. Pay attention to anywhere that you're feeling a little frustrated, because that's where you want to get those things off your plate sooner rather than later. Do your budget. And then once you have your budget, let's make sure that they have a blueprint for what you want them to do so that it's very clear. It's very easy. Okay. My top recommendation, again, there's a video on this, you guys, but my top recommendation for this is doing video tutorials.
Mhm.
Okay. So literally, when you find yourself feeling like, I'm doing this task and I know that this task is not the highest and best use of my time, I
Yeah.
want you to immediately put on do a Zoom clip, or what's the other one? You can
Loom.
use Descript, you can use
A loom
Loom
video.
Video. Yeah, any of them. There's so many services, you guys, where you can just go ahead and have yourself in a little bubble, and you can show your screen, you can show your Chrome window or
Yeah.
Safari, whatever browser you're using, and you're literally going to do the task that you never want to do again. And while you're doing it, you're just going to get your little mouth in action, and you're going to be talking through exactly what you're doing, where you're clicking, what you're doing, where the
Absolutely.
data goes, right? You do that task that one time. You just do it the one last time on
Yes.
video, explaining exactly what you're doing as you're doing it, and you're free from that time. You will never have to do that task
Mhm.
again. And then you can just add a link in your playbook. You can add a link to that particular tutorial, and now you're off to the races. And if the EA doesn't remember exactly how it was done, they can just link right there in the task list. They
Mhm.
can link on that video, rewatch it. Once they've done it a couple of times, they're not going to even need the video. Okay. But if you're stressed out about, gross, making playbooks, that sounds really painful. No, you don't have to make it painful. You have to make it just very, very clear. And then you do the Loom video or Zoom clips or any of them. There's a million, you guys. You can use any one that you have access to. Record the process, talk through it, then it's clear. It's just absolutely ready for them to use.
Yep.
Okay, so because we just covered budget, Rona, that was another thing that I thought was insanely valuable is the price point at which you
Mhm.
guys have full-time help. So, do you want to talk to us a little bit about that? Because I know mine is $1,500 a month,
Mhm.
and I have full time help, and she's absolutely brilliant. And things just keep getting better week over week. Her and I
Yeah.
just keep getting our systems refined and simplified and more elegant. And I couldn't be more thrilled with the value
Mhm.
that I'm getting from the time. So, you want to let them know a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, if you were, I mean, it's not even $25, right? Like, if you were to
Ooh,
do the
I
math,
know.
like 1,500 for a full-time, executive assistant, that gives you what, less than $10 actually per
Yeah,
hour.
exactly.
And yes, and if you were to, like hire someone personally, you still have to pay for their taxes, pay for, insurance, pay for office, space, whatever. But if you actually, outsource over to virtual Filipinos, so we do have like all our virtual assistants are office based. So we do have two offices here in the Philippines, and we're about 100 VAs, and we're still hiring more, and we're still getting and acquiring more talents for for business entrepreneurs like like you, Joy, and stuff. So yeah, I mean, price point, so we do offer like two different packages. We do have the part-time package, which is 950. So that gives you 80 hours of VA work, or virtual assistant service, from Monday to Friday. So the VA will be working like 4 hours a day. And then if you needed more, then there's the full-time package, 15 for only 1,500. That will give you 160 hours of VA services.
Okay, so let's repeat that again. So let them know, what is the part-time and what is the full-time. I just want to make sure anybody who's curious about this
Yeah.
knows. And I'm going to go in here. I'll put you so let them know exactly what the two options are
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah. So the part-time package, it's 950. So that's
Okay.
$950. 80 hours a month, and then for the full time it's 1500, and that will give them 160 hours of VA services, or like they can, have the VA to work 8 hours per day. And we
Okay.
work on US office hours, so time differences is not going to be an issue.
Yeah, I love that. And so what she means, you guys, like no matter what time zone you're in,
Mhm.
your team is working with you on your time zone. So for example, I start at 8 a.m. and we go through the day, like we start at 8 a.m. Pacific time, and then we have our last meeting at 4 p.m. Pacific time, and then she's finishing up for her for until 4:30. So that's how, like, I don't have to worry about like the time zone differences. Like they're literally working on our time schedule,
Mhm.
which makes a huge difference for me. I'm
Yeah.
going to put up, Rona, so people have access to this. If you guys are interested in being connected to Rona, just DM me over on Instagram, Affordable Help. You can also comment on YouTube if you're if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on LinkedIn, if you're watching it on Facebook, just go ahead and comment Affordable Help, and we'll make sure that we reach out to you and we connect you, and you guys will have access to getting this kind of help. Okay. Now, if any of you are feeling a little bit intimidated by the idea of what in the heck should I be forking over? Okay, I want to say a little bit about that. I'm going to reveal exactly the core areas that I instruct our practitioners to have their VA start working for them. Okay, there's a few, I'll tell you mine, and then I'll tell you the other two areas that I recommend that I personally don't need because I have team members here stateside for that, but that I do recommend that you use them for. Okay. And Rona, if there's anything that you feel like, oh, here's another good thing I've seen in other businesses, I want you to chime in with me. But here's the thing that protects my time the most. Okay. And this is going to be, I'm going to share this one first because this is where the vast majority of you are going to be like, oh, hell no, I would not trust someone to do that. I would definitely not. Okay. And that is when I open my email, I literally feel like I'm standing in the middle of, Manhattan, like I'm standing right in the middle of the town square, and everyone can come and demand my attention in all these
Yeah.
different directions. That's literally how I feel. And I feel like I have to context switch all the time. Okay, wait, this is an invoice that needs handled. Oh, and this is a
Mhm.
customer service issue. And this is someone who's in breakdown. And, like I feel like I'm having to use different parts of my brain, different parts of my personality. I feel like it's the most destructive thing to my focus and to my profitability. Okay. So for me, and again, that's the difference for me between an EA is someone I trust to run my email and my calendar,
Yeah.
right? And a VA is things I might delegate to, but I might not necessarily let them that close to my personal life. So you need to make a decision. I'm not trading secrets. I'm not doing anything scary. I'm not the kind of person who has affairs or does
Mhm.
anything dodgy, right? So like I have no concern about having someone that I grow to trust checking my email and letting them know, okay, all these brands are spam. Always just get rid of them and try to unsubscribe me. Here's a list of all my vendors. So any communication from my vendors, I want you to make sure to bring that to my attention right away. Here's a list of all my clients and all my collaborators. So that's clear, right? It's very, very clear. And then I have a foldering system for how the email is handled. Okay. The email and foldering system that I use is literally it's a derivative of an email system from the book Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell, which if you haven't read that book, you absolutely should read that book. I think I have a link for it right here. Really good, you guys. That foldering system that you will learn about in that book, it has a folder with your name and then a folder for to review. And that means the EA is going to review it with you. A folder called to respond, a folder called responded, and then any other folders that you want. Okay. So at any given time, if an important email comes in, it doesn't wait. So if that the what my EA will do is she'll respond and she'll say, "Hey, I got to this email before Joy did. And I know that she'd want you to have a prompt response. Okay. So I wrote her the sample emails. So she's always using verbiage that I approve of because I gave it to her, right? Like it's part of the playbook. It's in the playbook. Okay. And then because we meet twice a day for brief meetings, 15 minutes more and 15 minutes a day, anything that's important, she puts it on that meeting. And if it's drastically urgent, she'll hit me up via WhatsApp. So her and I chose to communicate via WhatsApp. If you can use any platform you like, if you're a Slack person, use that. But for me, WhatsApp is just easy. It's on my phone, it's on my desktop, and she literally can give me a red flag alert like, oh, something is going on, something is urgent. She can flag me on WhatsApp at any time. Okay. So for me, that is a massive, massive time saver for me. So that managing of my calendar email, I have her do that. Okay. Now I realize some of you will not have that level of trust to let someone get into your inbox, but I just wanted to admit that is one of the things that I find most time saving. Okay. Then the piece that, so whether or not you believe number one is for you, I'm going to carry on to the things that I advise all of my practitioners bring on a VA for. Okay. Number one is interest compounding. Okay. And we even have Lisa here, who is a big fan of interest compounding. Okay. Interest compounding is that process that I described where you do one long form video during a week. You pick what day of the week it is, you pick what time it is, and then your VA puts that video through the process of interest compounding. Okay. What is interest compounding? Well, after the video is done, she downloads the transcript. The transcript goes into a set of AI prompts, and the AI prompts create content in my voice, but not from random AI, from that transcript. So it stops it from feeling like generic, boring, stupid content because it's me speaking. So if the content is not good, it's because I wasn't delivering good content that day, right? It's not that the AI was bad. It's only creating those posts and those content from the exact words that I said, which is what I love about it, which means I can do one video. Okay. And you guys can see this in action because this video will be turned into a transcript and you guys will see this content in a blog. You'll see it as a Substack. You'll see it all over the place. And I will have done only this video. So that is number one. Okay. Because the moment that you can put your focus on just providing one high quality content video and yet have it scattered out on all of the other social media channels, that means you become omnipresent without having to use your personal time to go live on all those channels or record videos for all those channels. So number one is interest compounding. Okay. Now, once we get that interest, so once we get a high level of other people's interest on social media, if we do not follow up with that interest, we are committing the cardinal marketing sin of not being social on social media. Okay. Social media is called social for a reason. Okay. It's not just media. Media is one way, right? So if you read a newspaper, like that's one way communication. They are communicating at you. You are not going back and forth. The difference, and if you want to be successful, social media requires that you be social. Okay. So as soon as that interest compounding has gone out, well, someone needs to be following up with those DMs, with those Facebook messengers, with those YouTube comments, et cetera, et cetera. And so I have an entire playbook called social media engagement, and it prioritizes which channels are more important to me in which order. And it gives sample conversation starters and thanks for following and thanks for your comment. It gives standard responses so that I never have to worry, oh, is this person going to be a good reflection of my business or not? I told them exactly the kinds of things that I want to say. Okay. So number one, interest compounding. Number two, social media engagement. Number three, your funnels being built. Okay. So if you do not have things like your lure funnels or your webinar funnels or your homepage on your website or your funnel for booking free calls with you, all those kind of things have to be built for you to have a rock solid like online ecosphere, right? Instead of paying for a clinic where, it's a physical office, people come in, online needs a version of a clinic, right? It needs all of the pages and all of the ways for people to interact with you. Okay, so it's interest compounding number one, social media engagement number two, because if you did interest compounding, but you're not engaging socially, you're not going to turn those people into patients or clients. Okay, so interest compounding, social media engagement, and then your tech build outs. Okay, now there's a sort of hidden fourth one that I would say her people are really good at, and that would be the video editing. So in the interest compounding piece, if this is a long form video that you're creating, it may be that you need to give that long form video over to her team to be spliced and diced into social media worthy content, into those little sound bites of knowledge that can be trickled out as a story, as a reel, as a TikTok, as a YouTube short, any of those things. Okay. I have yet to find a single source. So, in other words, one agency that could, under one roof, give me access to all of the talent that's required to deploy all of those things. Meaning, you can literally delegate all of those things through one place. So, Rona, that is like amazing what you have created, because typically it's like, okay, I've got video editors over here. Maybe you're freestyling those over on Upwork or whatever, right? And then I've got, I've got someone else helping me with my social media, right? And that's a social media person, but they're like completely separated and siloed. And I'm having to also act as project manager between all of those different people. That's a pain in the butt, and that's more time consuming than it's worth. Whereas when you lean into what Rona and her team are doing, you have access to those same people under the same umbrella, which is, I find, extremely valuable. So again, I'm going to say, if you are like me and you feel comfortable, then the number one thing is protect yourself from your own email inbox, because that can be a huge time waster. Okay. If you don't feel comfortable with that, then the subsequent ones are do interest compounding, social media engagement, and then your tech building. So any of the online tech building that needs to happen. And then bonus points that they also have people who can do your video editing if you don't have that in-house or you're not using any of the AI derived services. All right. Is there anything that you have other clients using, Rona, that I wouldn't know about that we should share with them?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're actually do offer customer support service. So taking inbound and making outbound calls, like follow-up calls for, for our clients, and answering emails for them, like email inquiries for like clinics, and stuff like that. Um, Also texting.
Oh, nice. Okay, so
Yeah.
if you want to, if yeah, now this is going to mean, you guys, you need a good playbook for your customer service and how you want things handled. Okay, so provided you have that clear, or you're willing to take the time to make it clear. Remember, you guys, if you have a customer service issue that's going to come up again and again, let's say,
Mhm.
for me, one that comes up for customer service all the time, and I have this in my playbook, is I forgot my password, right? It's like, I've locked myself out of everything that I bought from you, and I don't know how to get back to it, right?
Yeah.
So it was just one little Loom video, and I'm like, okay, when people forget their password, here's exactly how you help them. Here's a sample email communication. Here's a
Mhm.
follow-up email in case they're so, not tech savvy that they didn't quite get it right the first time.
Yeah.
So if you're going to need those things, you will need to arm them with the things for your customer service. But how cool is that? I didn't know you guys did outbound sales. That's awesome.
Yeah, we do that. So mostly to handle, like customer support. So we request copies of like FAQs from our clients. So in that way we can
Yep,
create, like a processes of how they can expect us to like really, take on inquiries and stuff.
that's awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
great. So you got your team is actually helping people to set up the systems. I guess that's part of your background too, Rona, is like you help
Yeah.
businesses create systems that make
Yes.
them
Like,
more efficient. Okay.
yes. I mean, initial, like initial thing, or, if I like jumping into a meeting, first thing that I really, check with our client is, do you have an SOP ready?
Yep.
If they don't have, and they don't have the time to, like do it, that's when I step in. So, they can choose certain packages for my SOP services, and
Yep.
then we can begin from there. And then once, they see, okay, so in my SOPs I badly needed, virtual assistant or like help with, let's say, the customer support part or the social media part, or the administrative part, then that's when, we will definitely propose, okay, why don't you just hire, instead of like hiring people from elsewhere, hey, we offer that in-house as well.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. I love that you can help people who don't have their SOPs create them, because
Mhm.
to me that's the difference between success and failure with bringing on help. That is night and day difference. The more clear that your playbooks or SOPs are, the more you're going to find any problem in the process right away, right? Because if you did an SOP and you skip a step, then you're going to see that in your next
Yep.
meeting with your VA. They're going to be, oh, okay, there was this one thing and I could only get this far. And you're going to fix the hole in the bucket and you're going to keep, and
Yeah.
then you're going to keep going. So I love that you guys can actually help, that's something additional that they can invest in, is to get the help in the SOPs,
Yeah.
because I know for myself that has been the difference between success and failure. All right.
Hmm.
You guys, I put up on screen, if you use that QR code, that goes directly to my personal Instagram. And I'll ask you a few questions on there. Mostly will want to connect you with Rona in a way that lets her know what to be prepared for. So if you're looking for full-time or if you're looking for part-time. So if you guys DM me the words affordable help, then I am happy to connect you and get you started with Rona and her team. Okay. You guys, I have hired stateside, I've used hire my mom, I've used overseas agencies, I've tried all different kinds of ways to get the help that I need in my business. And I have never been as thrilled with the speed to onboarding as I have with Rona. And Rona, I can only guess that that speaks to your ability to create SOPs for getting people started with each other, because it literally was so smooth. It's so
It
smooth.
is. Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
it's so
Like,
smooth. What's onboarding time for you guys? I know for me, you guys, I'm going to tell you, like
yeah,
I said, yes, I want this. And we were getting started by the next Monday. You know what I mean? Like I said, yes, on a Friday,
yeah,
we met on Monday, we were getting started right away. And I think I was introduced to my VA the next day, like the Tuesday
yeah.
morning or something. So for me, onboarding went really, really quickly. What's your average onboarding right now?
Right now, because the number of clienteles that we're getting, so instead of like, normally it happens like after 24 hours, like after, service agreement has been signed. But
Yep.
now at least give us like 48 hours to,
Oh,
just plug you in into our system, set you up, set your virtual assistant up with, with a desk on our office, the computer, the dedicated computer. So computers are not being shared with, another VA. So it is only used and, will definitely going to be used by your dedicated virtual assistant.
yeah, I love that. I love that. And then I want to throw out an invitation for all of you who don't already know this. Most of you know that we here at HealAtScale have a mastermind called Practitioner Accelerator. Okay, if you are serious about your growth, this is a community of people who are scaling to 83.3K a month. Okay, that's $1 million in online revenue. Now, I'm talking about whatever you do in your clinic, you do that in your clinic. Okay, our goal at HealAtScale is to get you to an additional 83.3K a month in your online revenue. So from your online offers, this is going to be from your group programs. It might be from some one-on-one coaching if you do that, but everything's sold in the online space. That's what we do. Okay. Now, when you are a member of our Practitioner Accelerator Mastermind, you get access to my playbooks. Okay, I'm going to say that again. If you are a member of our Practitioner Accelerator Mastermind, you get access to my playbooks. So, my playbook about what it means to be an EA for my brand. Now, can you copy that? And you can say, oh, I like what Joy said here. I would say this differently. Oh, I have different demands. I have different requests. Of course you can. Okay. You don't have to, I don't expect you to be a replica of me. But what I do expect is that if you're in my community, you are not going to take the 2 weeks that it took me to create a playbook that I feel gives me 100% certainty that my EA understands her role, understands her value, feels like a part of my family, a part of my work family. and communicates everything that's expected of her and everything I want her to expect of me and my community very clearly articulated. And then it also gives you the sub playbooks, right? So in that EA playbook, this is okay, this is the role, this is everything we do, this is how we communicate, this is how you and I interact. And for any of the tasks that she has, there is also a playbook for that interest compounding process, right? Including a pre-playbook for you, the brand leader, of how do you get that content ready? How do you get the outline for what you want to teach that week? How do you get it? How do you make sure it's really rock solid and good? And then how do you pass it on to her in a way that she can use AI to do all of the social media promotions and all of the emails that promote that once a week, weekly video that you're going to do? And then the interest compounding process that happens afterwards. That is one hell of a playbook, you guys. Okay. That in and of itself is worth being a member of Practitioner Accelerator already, because that is the secret to you not messing up your marketing and you to not being absent on social media, but also not being a slave to social media, because the requirements on you are do one good quality video every week. And then let your EA take it from there. Let you show up on every single platform on all these different ways, but you just pick one that you like to engage on and interact on, and you just do your live video on that one platform. So much easier. Okay. So you get all that. You know how Gary Vee wants us all to be omnipresent. He wants us to be everywhere, be on TikTok, be on this, be on that. Well, that's really impossible if you want to have a life and you want to run your business and you want to serve your clients, right? But interest compounding makes that possible. So if you're interested in being part of our community and having those playbooks already handed to you so that they can be customized, and all you need to do is change out, your own preferences and your own priorities, then come on in. You can book a free game plan session. When you book that session, you will literally be meeting with the health business strategist that took Amy Myers from burnout in her clinic to a multi-million-dollar a year online operation. So you will be meeting with someone who definitely knows what the heck he's talking about, and he'll tell you exactly what he would and would not do if your business was his own. Okay.
Mhm.
And then from there, he'll let you know whether or not you're a good fit for Practitioner Accelerator. And if you are, come on in, just use our playbook. So you don't have to start from ground zero. You can go ahead and stand on our shoulders and put our systems and processes that we use in place. And that should get you farther, much faster with your new team member, because we've been through this, right? We've been in the health and celebrity space for over a decade. And so we've definitely learned our mistakes and polished our processes so that everything's nice and smooth. All right. So I know that Rona made it sound like a long time. Oh, please give me 48 hours. She is being so humble there, because I have gone through the process. I'll just share. I went through the process of working with Hire My Mom, which I actually thought it was great. And I love the idea, right? Like, oh, moms that want to stay home, I'm helping them, this and that. But I have to say, it was a 3-week process just to even find me somebody. And then it was a 2-week process to even get me onboarded. So it was almost 2 months before I was even getting started with the help that I needed. And you can imagine how much was falling on my plate in the meantime. And that was slowing down my growth. It was costing me money. It was a lot. It was a lot. So for her to act like 48 hours is a long time, you guys, 48 hours is not a long time. That's like amazing. For you to get top-notch help at affordable prices in that short of a timeline is nothing short of miraculous in my mind. All right. So
Yeah.
if you want access to Rona and her team, scan the code, just DM me affordable help. If you're watching on a different platform, just put it in the comments below and we'll reach out to you and we'll get you connected and you can see if this is the right fit for you. Again, I know it's $1,500 a month for the full-time help, and I don't recall exactly what was the part-time option, Rona, just so they know.
Yeah, 950.
That's great. You guys,
Yeah.
come on. That's so crazy. Like, that's less than one client, right? That's less than one client. And think how much more time you're going to have and how much more social media marketing is going to be going out if someone is doing all of that for you. If you just show up with your passion, sharing knowledge one time a week, and then you have someone who helps to deploy that across all the different channels and helps do the social media reach to turn that attention into actual paying clients, like I can just only imagine, I can feel it in my bones, like how different that would be for all of you guys that take this on. I mean, I see it in the practitioner accelerator community all the time. But I wanted to bring her here onto our public YouTube channel, onto our LinkedIn and Facebook, because I know that more than just our community, the people who can afford to invest in being in the practitioner accelerator world, much more of you need this than just that community. So that's why I asked her to be here today and asked her to share with us, some of the inside secrets of how you can win with the people on her amazing team. Rhonda, did I forget anything?
No, I think we pretty much cover everything. And the fact that we're actually talking about office-based virtual assistants. So these are not, people that are working from home. So I can assure you that these people are working on your projects.
Yeah. And I know that you're just hearing her say what she's saying, but let me tell you what she's not saying. Okay. So let me tell you of what lives under the surface of what she's saying as someone who has tried various overseas options for help before. Okay. I'm going to tell you all the problems I've encountered. Not being accountable for their work, missing in action for days or weeks on end, having internet sometimes and not having internet other times. And the internet is the way that the internet literally is the avenue through which they do all the work that I need them to do. So if there's not somebody ensuring that they have quality computers and good internet access and a team to lean into if they get stuck, right? All of her people are like in an office together. So if someone is like, wow, I just really hit something, I don't understand what the problem is, well, there's a whole other team of people they can lean in and share their experience and lean in and get support. And that is not something that you are going to find in a lot of the other overseas help. I know from experience how much time I've invested in trying to do that. And then I've literally had one go just missing in action. Like just never heard from them again, So she's giving you the highlights, which is they're all in a wonderful office. They have dedicated computers. They have amazing internet. Like I know they have amazing internet because me and Sai, we video conference every morning, right? So I know they have great internet. So all of that is being taken care of for these people. So you don't have to stress that they're not going to have good access to internet, high quality help, good computers, all that good stuff. Right.
And they don't have to, and they don't have to micromanage because they're actually not just hiring one person. Like you have the whole team helping you out. Like there's going to be an assigned team leader to make sure that, your virtual assistant or your EA is working accordingly on your schedule. So,
yeah. And I love that because for me, you guys, the way that I use Rona's team is that I have a person who is my EA because she's doing my email, she's doing my private stuff. I have a person in-house at my company who builds all the funnels, right? So my landing pages, my website. But if I did need that from her, then I could lean in and say, oh, Rona, I need to expand the capacity of what I need done. And then I can work out with her. And then I have my EA doing all those tasks. And if I also needed tech help, if I also needed a video editor, then they have that in their wheelhouse, which I think is a huge advantage, you guys, because of the way I feel like project manager is the right term. I feel like what you need done is project managed. And then if you need a little bit of VA, need a little bit of like tech help, and then you need a little, more executive assistant style help, you can get all that in a one-stop shop and trust that there's somebody overseeing the interaction of all those different forms of work you need done.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Rona, thank you for what you do. You really do stand out in a sea. Like I said, Travis and I have tried a lot of different options, and to find someone who not only felt so good right at the spark when we first met each other, but also to have that show up in the communications. And so you guys, I said I communicate with mine in a WhatsApp. Like literally, sometimes the team lead is in there and they'll ask me a question and just confirm. Like recently it was Thanksgiving. And so the team lead jumped in there and was like, okay, Joy, are you working on Thanksgiving or not working on Thanksgiving? We want to make sure you have help if you are working, and that your team gets time off if you're not working. So it was great. It was like the whole community is jumping in to make sure that both the team over there is well taken care of, and also that I feel, I'm well taken care of as well. So again, I could not be more grateful for how well you stand out in a sea of other businesses that have definitely not led anywhere near the quality that you're bringing to market. So I'm so grateful for you.
No, thank you so so much. You're actually not just the only person that thanked me today, and it feels like, Rona, you really found the right, people that the company serving, that you guys are serving. So it feels really good from, from within, like, because the thing that I only envisioned before, and then I created into, like a map, and then I created into a processes, and then applied it to as a system. It is working. And like this coming month, I mean this coming 20th, we're going to be celebrating our annual year end party. We're also going to be celebrating our 10th year in the industry. So
Yeah, congratulations, honey.
yeah,
Congratulations.
thank
Yay.
you so so
All
much.
right. Well, hopefully, a lot of you will get to be a part of her growth. And then her team gets to be the safety net that lets you grow without threatening your own health, right? Too many of you dedicated practitioners can inadvertently become a hypocrite as you try to fulfill the Hippocratic oath because you're telling your patients to take care of themselves and you're working so hard that you're not taking care of yourself. So please lean in and get the affordable help that you need and get a high return on that investment in help. I know it's been game changing for me. Rona, we'll have you on again. Okay. We want
Thank
updates if
you.
your
Thank
company
you
is
so
growing.
so much.